And fall in, my fellow scout troopers, welcome back to a Napoleon Total War 3 3v3 battle replay today. So this replay was sent to me by Pingu, or the Khan's Ottoman Pingu Datoli. We have here his ally Oompa Loompa and Bulba. The opponents today are Joe Bobden Procom, Captain Mueller, and Antola. The map is 1814 Lundy's Lane. Points today on the field. We have 2 4-pointers, 8, another 2 2s, 12 and 13, so 3, so that's 15 points total. We have a combined total of 7 points here in the centre. And so this map actually forces players to secure the 4 points to the north and south where they deploy, and then battle there in the centre for dominance. Now we've got 3 big roads here that basically allow you to move all around the map pretty quickly actually. So it shouldn't take too long for the teams to come in contact with one another. On the blue team we have Oostenrijk 1813, we have UK Netherlands as well, and we have a second Austria army, the 1813. I'm just wondering about that. Yeah, we've got 2 Austria armies here. Alright, now while we're waiting for combat, guys, if you want to see your own replay featured here on this very channel, don't forget to check out those links that you'll contact me with in the video description below. There are of course my email at scoutsentertainment@gmail.com. You can post it to me directly on Discord. You can join my Discord server Scouts Constants and post it there. Or you can simply tag me and replay a post on the NTW3 Discord as well. I'll simply just post your replay there. I do check out that Discord regularly. So, their opponents today are coming into view. We have here a Polska-Riband mismatch there. We have France army, and we have 2 French armies here today. So 2 French, 1 mixed. Now the map is mostly open. There are small hills on this side of the map, which seem to be taller than the ones over here. So blue team's at a slight disadvantage. The red team has slightly higher elevated ground where they operate, and whoever controls this hill will probably control the fight. I mean, the artillery could potentially pound the French forces as they march towards the coalition's forces. It also helps them maintain control of this barn here. So this would be a nice spot to deploy artillery, whoever gets here first. But given we've got the Austria cavalry, a lot of cavalry in place, it's going to be tough for the French forces to wrestle them from this hill. But if the French do have cuirassiers, or the Polska-Riband faction has some elite cavalry on their side, that might be enough to throw them back. Their troops are much closer to the hill than... Oh no, Austria is right there. Huffle, that was cavalry there for a second. And he'll begin moving his forces apart, maybe just before he reaches the crest of this hill. So it doesn't make it too easy for the Imperial forces to focus him down with their artillery and potentially wipe out most of his army. Because that'd be a sweet target right there to hit. Now, unfortunately, for the coalition, we've got Polska here. He's going to take the barn. But coalition forces have a few options. They can either just fire artillery down on the area until the infantry is just broken, or force them back with artillery, blow the barn with their artillery. And there's not much the French forces can really do about it. Now Austria here is just doing some scouting, just trying to see where the other enemy infantry is possibly at. We've got a lot of cav build up on this side of things, so Austria has most of their cav on the right, on their right flank, and the enemy has most of their cav on their right flank. They appear to be sticking clear of the forests. Forests are hazardous for most units. Especially cavalry, as you move far slower. Still, Austria is almost there. But I reckon we will do a small cut here, guys, and come back soon, as we seem to be a little ways off from a real engagement. Okay guys, we're back briefly, because France has deployed their artillery, or is in the process of deploying. But Austria, maybe to his own peril, has kind of maintained his large column formation as he comes down the hill. I thought he would have dispersed that long ago. He does have his own artillery trying to provide some cover, and the cav going in for a charge to try and take it out. This is fast, hard-hitting cavalry, and it looks like they will get there. Cav is broken, but they did their job. They sent the artillery running. So, a bit of a gamble there for Austria. He was lucky not to get shellacked. The artillery could have really hurt him. It's weird he chose this point right there to spread out his forces and not at the top of the hill. It made sense to keep his troops in conformation formation until he got to the top, because then his enemy was just a short march away. And you want to spread out your forces, you don't make it too easy for enemy's artillery to focus you down. But it doesn't look like France really had the opportunity to fire on him. So Austria here, to his credit, moved fast enough. But it could have been bad there for him. He got a little bit lucky in my opinion. Now Netherlands here has got to be careful. France has their artillery deployed. But if they shift their line and keep that unit there between them and the artillery, most of the Netherlands army here should be okay. But yeah, mate, I think he sees you. He's trying to be inconspicuous. He might not get that back. Austria is not leaving much behind here. There's really nothing protecting the artillery on the hill except maybe one cav unit, but if we have an enemy cav unit that is hidden right now and walks down this road here, gets close enough and charges, they're going to get that artillery. Usually players like to keep cav close and just behind the artillery. That way it's easy for them to defend it at a moment's notice. Now, we've got Austria here moving on France, which is ignoring Polska, who is moving on him on his right. So, Austria is taking a gamble here. He needs his teammates to sort of step up and help him assume combat here. But look, France is marching away. He's trying to pull him closer to France and get him sandwiched. Get Austria sandwiched between France and Polska right there. So Austria here shouldn't take the bait. He needs to fall back, set up a line from this tree here, maybe all the way across, and just maintain that battle line for now until his allies move up. He might even be forced back to the bottom of the hill here if Austria does move up fast enough and halts France advances here. Now we've got Netherlands moving up, which is good. I don't know if this is a miscommunication between the two French players or not, but that is not ideal. They've limited up the artillery. Well, now's a great time to move in with the artillery limited up. And Austria and Netherlands here getting pretty close to each other. Might be a good time to engage France, but it's not looking too hot here over here. Okay, I've got artillery targeting the Austrian line. They might be going for canister shot. I think it sort of just bowled them over a little bit. That looked a little bit high. And Polska's moving up around the house. Now, I don't know if this is the same Austrian player or not, but he's got to hold the artillery until that cab is clear. Netherlands has fully engaged. Austria is in danger of being outflanked and attacked in the rear here. Polska has this artillery piece, I think, almost dead to rights, assuming these guys here can form square. It's not safe for them to continue marching this direction. They've got to try and get behind the artillery. Move up the roads, so to speak. Austria doesn't have the troops to repel them, they can move up with impunity. Got a fairly large Austrian unit there. Well, Netherlands here is outgunned, but he's holding his ground. And looking at the bodies falling, Netherlands here is kind of winning the firefight, at least for the moment. I don't know if the cav is charging. Like, what is it? Austria doesn't seem to be reacting much to these 6 Polska infantry units at all. We've got 2 cav units here and an artillery piece. But what do you do? Looks like his plan is to fire on it. Try to use the cav to sort of keep him at bay. The line here is pretty disorganized, not looking too good for them there. They've forced them back a little bit. Austrian line looking a bit more tidy in the center. These units here from the Netherlands need to sort of move up and join the line. We've got 3 units seemingly going for a suicide charge. I'm not too sure why they're moving up so far ahead of the other units. Like, I don't know why these 3. Cannons are shot. We'll get 10 of them. Yeah, okay, Netherlands here. He got hurt a little bit. He's bruised. We've got large gaps here in the line forming. But France is not pressing. You've got a bit of a miscommunication here. Large gap in the line. France can move up, potentially fill it. If he can push his way through far enough, he can outflank the Austrian line here. And either side as well. I mean, France has so many troops in reserve, so does Polska. It's almost like the Austrians are inviting them in through this gap, like they want them to punch through and try to outflank their forces. They might have a plan, there might be some artillery nearby, who knows? It might be a trap, or it could be a mistake. A mistake that France is a little bit hesitant to exploit. Anyway, he's moving forward now, so we'll find out whether or not soon enough whether it pays off for him. Austria has some troops that he's just starting to set up, but France is also moving up other troops in response that should be able to keep these 4 units at bay, while these 5 here should be able to take on the Austrian line and begin winding it up. Cav's going in for a charge. None of these guys here can form square, but we've got Austrian cav charging in. I didn't see them until just now. And back in the mist, they disappear. So got some units going for a bayonet charge. No, actually they halted that. accuracy doesn't appear to be the best for both sides. That last artillery hit did the trick. Okay, just trying to shoot them. Make sure they stay broken. Makes sense. Alright, now Pole's got the French alliance here. The Imperials have suffered a pretty big defeat here on their left flank. Austria has superior numbers now. They can move them around the enemy line and begin moving towards the general direction of the main line. Begin folding them up, so to speak. Polski has some reserves. To counter this possible advance that Austria might initiate, these four need to move up, and the new line has to be formed with these 6 units across. And they got to lengthen the line as best they can to keep the enemy units, the enemy infantry back, stop themselves from being outflanked. And Austria here, he has to move forward right now. He's got the numbers. These 5 units here need to immediately engage head on. These 5. These other 2 units can sweep around from behind. And also eliminate any potential stragglers or threats. They've got Cav here also backing them up for such a maneuver. And if Polska is going to leave France to dry, then these units here need to move and outflank the line starting from here. Now, Polska would only leave France out to dry if he didn't communicate that he was retreating. These 4 here, they could have moved forward straight away to relieve the pressure on the left flank, to reinforce it, to keep Austria back, potentially halting this advance of theirs. How's the UK Netherlands done? He suffered a few defeats. It looks like he could be on his last legs. It looks like they're trying to form ranks. Jeez, Netherlands has got to do something about that. You got to turn around the fire. Austrian cav is charging the enemy cav. Okay. Well, we have French cav move in, and has prompted a charge here from the Austrians. Mid-tier dragoons. Jeez, how's the French cav holding on? Well, looks like we just got lances here. Austrian infantry has got to move up. The cav is engaged. They've got to try and keep the infantry occupied. They've got to be shooting the infantry when they're in a square formation like this. Well, Austria here lost 1 unit of dragoons. Still, that's a fairly large unit there. UK Netherlands plans to hold the house. Alright. Austria's got an opportunity, they're going to move forward now. The center of the Austria is struggling. What is their plan here? We've got small gaps in the line of the Austrians over here, which is bugging me a little bit. The Austrian artillery maybe should be trying to break the enemy arty across the hill there. Well, enemy arty there blasted a big hole. This seems like we're seeing a slow death here in the Austrians. You've got elite cuirassiers from the Austrian side. They can't form square. Ularian cavalry. That's fairly decent cap there. A small win there, but Austria's centre has basically retreated. It hasn't collapsed. It's retreated. The ammo needs to be passed down the lines, I think. It's really weird. Austria here losing even though they have the high ground. The Imperials are using their artillery pretty well by the looks of things. And it really seems like Austria has struggled to counter those. You're getting pretty close.
Our men are running, sir.
Okay, they're sitting in the cab. Some sort of square formation. Alright, they're going to try again. This firepanner might want to switch and fire canister shot at the closer units. Yeah, there you go. He's switching now.
Our men are running, sir.
Don't know if they're reloading or not. That was a cannonball shot. Unfortunately, they missed. The Netherlands has no stomach for combat. The general was almost hit. We've got one Austrian unit looking to defend their artillery. Better get that canister shot going. Nice volley. Yep. You got off the canister shot. Enemy cav is charging the French line with success. I don't have canister shot will reach him. Well, I think that go whoosh over their heads. Well, France on the right flank has been pushed back. But France and France Polska has made considerable ground, actually, in the center and the left. Austrian cap is charging in. You see form square at the last second. Looks like they were charging into the square again. They want to keep it in square formation. These Austrians, they're running. Oh, they were determined to kill this unit, that's for sure. Got more Austrians moving up. Oh yeah, can't do that, careful, careful, no, he's gonna break his own unit. Well, the general needs to be a little bit closer. Cav's got to move up. They got to win this cav fight. Then to move around and try and take out the general. Alright, Polska was forced to cap battle. And the general here is actually in danger of being routed. The enemy arty is really hurting him, but Austria here smashed through him. Now, can these guys simply move back and take out the artillery? They've got to find them first. Do they take out the general, or do they take out the artillery? Well, they're walking. They're winded.
Our men are running, sir.
Got another charge here. This unit forming square again. UK is back in the battle. They got what? Yeah, two infantry units and one artillery piece. Good hit.
Our men are running, sir.
I can't tell if they took out the enemy general or not. Oh, hang on, we lost the general. Bulba. Okay, the enemy artillery took him out, so instead of going after the general, which he, I don't know if he actually succeeded or not. Doesn't, it looks like he did. He should have taken out the artillery, because it might have saved his general's life. Fortunately for Austria, there doesn't appear to be too many enemy units in the area. So he might have them there. Austria has their right flank and their artillery is trying to help. So is their cavalry.
Our men are running, sir.
By not seceding the high ground, the coalition forces have stayed in the fight. There was opportunities for both sides to advance, and neither side really took the opportunity. France does seem to own the centre. You still got to take that building in front of him. What's curious is this whole French army here is not moving straight towards the house, right? And then peeling off a couple of units to deal with the enemy artillery. They're staying at a position that allows the Austrian artillery to fire into them indiscriminately. It gives them more chances, more time to kill the French soldiers. France here should have just ploughed ahead, got straight to the house, moved around, and taken out the Austrian artillery. Instead, he's put himself into a position that just is not good. I don't think the Austrians will be able to defeat him with what they have at the moment, but they will wear him down considerably. Cavs charging in once again. They keep wanting to help out. They keep wanting to throw back the enemy army. Bit of a win there.
Our men are running, sir.
It's easy to understand why they hesitant to move up. The artillery really hurt them bad when they've moved them before. But they have their own cavalry, and they've won most of the cap battles so far, so what the coalition alliance needs to do is communicate, bring all their cap together, and worm their way, try to find their way around the enemy line here, maybe on the edge of the forest, get into the enemy general, run around, charge into the rear ranks of the infantry, take out the artillery. I was trying to say worm their way behind enemy lines. Alright guys, we're back. France is making their way towards the house. Morale of the Austrians here, it's not looking too good. The accuracy of the French soldiers have proved to be a bit more deadlier than maybe the Austrians hoped. Well, we've got the second Austrian army moving up. The UK and Netherlands sort of holding their ground for now. These guys here hoping to retreat and fight, live another day. Okay, Netherlands still has some caps, some Royal British Dragoons. The Imperials are going to be wary. I mean, they've suffered a lot of casualties in this advance.
This building has fallen to the enemy.
Okay, have they achieved the lock? Superiority. Well, they've taken the 3-pointer in the center, that's important. And they could theoretically control that hut. So, you know, right now, the red team does appear to be winning. This cab unit here is fresh. And has achieved a lot of success. But, I don't know, they're still taking out enemy infantry. This one cab unit is doing more than the infantry has done so far at breaking up the French lines. Captain Mueller taken out by enemy artillery. I wonder where this Netherlands infantry is off to. Maybe he's trying to go after the 4-pointer to the south. Maybe. Well, Austria's moving up, but Netherlands is not moving up with him. Like the little concave formation Austria's got going there. France is fairly bunched up in the center. Austria can't really move in and surround them. Not with Polska on their left flank, and since the Netherlands isn't there backing them up, they are retreating, it would seem. Now look, if you're the red team and you want to make sure if you control the 4 points of the 3 and the 2, then the Austrians have to come to you. The Austrians and the Netherlands have to come to you and wrestle those points away from you. Alright guys, we're back. Austria just fallen up their line. France came down the hill. Bit of a breakdown in the sound. Okay, I'll just cut that part out. Alright, combat has resumed. Once again, the Austrians are playing the cat and mouse tactic with the Imperials. So far the Imperials have managed to weather the storm, but they've suffered a lot, and that's sort of invited the coalition back into the battle a bit. We've got a potential cat engagement forming. We could have elite on elite here, we do. But I think the Austrians might need an infantry unit shooting them on the flank. Now, if Austria wants to do this right, this cav unit has to march towards us right now, then veer right into the enemy cavalry. At the same time, enemy infantry shoots them. I probably wouldn't have done this. We'll see if whether or not it pays off. It might pay off. It all depends on how tired the French cav is and how many casualties they've suffered, if they have suffered any casualties, and if their general is dead. So, stamina and morale playing a key part, or playing a key factor in this battle here right now. Key component, that was what I was after. Okay, the artillery is being shifted along. Oh, come on, dude, hurry up. Get the artillery. They can fire a side shot straight into the enemy line. I don't know if they're doing it already or not. Oh, hang on, maybe they are. We've got 3 6-pounder cannons here. It's looking okay, but the artillery needs to get a bit closer. The Imperials need to fall back. They're losing this fight here. I only got 10 minutes left on the clock, so something big has to change in order to see a winner. Alright. So the blue team here is going for both the 4-pointers, thus giving them lock superiority. The Imperials surrendered both houses. In light of that, the only thing the coalition, the Imperials can really do now is go for one last hurrah charge. Kill the enemy army. I don't even think they have enough time to move any forces back to take those 4-pointers. Without taking one of those 4 pointers, even if they take all the houses now in this area, they've lost by a lot. Well, you got to hand it to the coalition forces. They played the cat and mouse game fairly well. But had they maintained their fight with the Imperial forces, the Imperials were winning. As confident as the Imperial forces were, at the end of the day, the confidence proved to be their undoing. They moved forward, but they didn't move forward in a manner that allowed them to finish off their opponent. The enemy just kept retreating, reforming, shooting like a rearguard action. Retreat, form up, shoot. Retreat, form up, shoot. And the Imperial forces just didn't pursue them aggressively enough that denied them the opportunity to reform and shoot instead of just keeping on retreating. I think the coalition got a little bit lucky there. The battle was France's to win, and unfortunately they did lose on their part. Well, congratulations to the Netherlands and the coalition, of course, the Austrians, of course. But there was a bit of luck involved in this fight today. It wasn't just all strategy. There was plenty of moments there France could have really charged in aggressively and tore up the coalition forces. They showed signs that they were sort of doing that, but then they just sort of pulled back and pursued the Austrians at a very slow pace. Like, France had Netherlands on the run over here. They did. There wasn't much left of the Netherlands. The France wiped out a number of their units, so there isn't too much left of their army. But instead of moving in to finish them off, they just sort of held back and allowed their artilleries to exchange with one another for a while. And that didn't benefit the Imperial forces at all. Polska, I thought he was in a bit of trouble for a while, but he came back. But he was a little bit too timid. He didn't really get too involved in his battle on the Austrian left flank. It was a bit. Overall, the Imperial forces were aggressive, but then turned off the juice just when things were really starting to get powered up there for them. They slowed down the war machine too many times. And as a result, coalition forces have taken the field, so we'll just sort of fast forward to the end here, guys, I reckon. And we got victory here for Pingu and his allies there. Pingu again 1326, Oompa Loompa I think 847, Bulba 1031, Joe 990, Captain Mueller 1031, and Anatola 912. So good kill counts there all around, guys. Kill counts here for Pingu range from 154, 2 units getting over 100 kills, down to 0, belonging to the general there. The rest of the units did alright across the board. And that is it. So once again, guys, if you want to see your own Napoleon Total War 3 replay or any Total War replay feature on this very channel, don't forget to check out those links to contact me with. You'll find in the video description below. Hope to hear from you soon. This is Micka from Scouts of Entertainment signing off. Goodbye, my fellow Scout Troopers, and I'll catch you all in the next Total War battle.